Well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us for the news review. And right before I introduce my guests, let me make this big announcement. Joy News and an amalgam of professional bodies is organizing a public speaking event on the theme Transformed Individuals Transforming the World, a challenge for the religious community in Ghana. The speakers, Dr. Philip Engman, Dr. Mrs. Yvonne Yuenchiwa Eseku, Ambassador Umar Sanda Ahmed, Lieutenant Colonel retired, and the main speaker is Reverend Dr. Joseph Kofi Aintree. The moderator for the event, our very own Philip Osebunsu, host of Ekosi Sane on Asempa FM. The date is 17 September 2024, time 6:30 p.m. Venue, British Council Hall. For more information, all you have to do is call this number, 0244 220 427, 0244 220 427. This event is powered by Joy News and Joy FM. Well, joining us for the news review this morning, we have from the MPP's end, William Ofosu Asante. He is parliamentary candidate, Bon Katamanso constituency, and Julian Kobina. He is with the NDC's manifesto group, the spokesperson on youth development. Both of them join us this morning. Gentlemen, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
William and Julian.
Yeah.
I have friends with both names, so I was just telling them in a friendly manner before we came on air that it's going to be friendly but fiery since they are both new on the set. It's good to have you. Really good to have you.
Thank you very much.
We have a tradition here where we give our guests a bite-sized opportunity to share their thoughts on any pertinent issue of national scope, or even if it's international but you feel it has national dimensions, you can talk about them. You have about a minute and a half each. I'll start with you, William.
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners and viewers. Yes, so I'd like to take my bit to touch on the ongoing political exercise. I have realized that a lot of the time...
Which aspect of the exercise?
The parliamentary, to be precise, and even the presidential. I realized
so the filing of nominations?
I've already filed. I mean, I'm talking about the inclusiveness, I mean, the
okay.
participation in the political activity. I realize that a lot of the time we don't look at the individual capacities of the people who are contesting for the various offices. We tend to look at the broad picture. So I am MPP, you are NDC, and the discussion is centered largely and primarily on our political affiliations rather than what we actually bring to bear. Don't forget, the political parties are made up of Ghanaians. Right. Therefore, if you get the right people with the right competences, then we can be sure that the bigger group is going to get better and the nation at large gets to benefit from the resources of the people. And so, yes, politically, I'd want to take the opportunity to throw the information and the education out there that if you are listening to me, you are a Ghanaian, you should be first a Ghanaian before a politician or before any political party member. And by that, you would mean well for the people. You would look into the aspirants, vet them, and see their fitness for purpose for the very offices they are aspiring for before you make your conclusion. Not based on emotions, not based on hearsay, not based on things that people have concocted or packaged by way of propaganda. And that is the only way that we can heal the nation, because the nation needs our attention. The nation needs our involvement in this ongoing political activity. I'll rest it there. Thank you. But right. I'd like to say that I'm here with Julian, who happens to be my school son from St. Peter's. I was the head boy. He was my SRC executive. So I was president. He was an executive as well. So this is the St. Peter's agenda. And therefore, I wish to put it out there that if you were Pesco, but you should be proud of yourself, because two of your sons or your boys are here.
Strangely, when you talk about PESCO, which is the school that my eldest brother, may his soul rest in peace, attended. So he's a PESCO-ba. And... but the fondest memory, maybe not fondest, the first thing that came to mind when he said St. Peter's was, you remember a few years ago in the National Science and Math quiz, these Egyptians you see, you will see no more. And the Egyptians swept first cross.
But I am safe because my batch, when I was head boy, we won the trophy. And so we did our part. He failed to do his part. So.
His
year didn't do their part.
Oh,
I did
mine. Hey, shot fired. Then But anyway, the NSMQ is coming up in October, so we can look forward to more action. We'll see whether St. Peter's
But you know, in terms
carries
of
the goal.
consistency and form, St. Peter's has proven to be the...
I think if you wanted to talk about consistency and form, then please don't let the other years start their thing. We are tired of, the other years and the Amanfo, I think, Prempe, right, talking about. But Julian, quickly on your thoughts.
So for many young people who are listening to us today, they didn't have the opportunity to join the struggle within Nkrumah to fight for our independence. In 2024, we have the most consequential election in our history as a country. At a time of rising unemployment, young people don't have jobs. Increased corruption has come to the forefront of our national governance. We are failing to even arrest the galamsey menace. All the litany of problems that this government has crept into our state construction program. Young people have the opportunity on 7 December to reset our country. And John Mahama is litigating a new regime, resetting our country to make sure the young people have got jobs so that we're able to fight corruption and have proper governance in our republic. For all the young people who are listening to me today and who have the privilege to come to their homes through your program, I want to urge you to join the struggle, campaign in your locality, in your polling station, because this election is our own revolution without a gun. It's a revolution to get jobs post the exit of this Akufo-Addo regime. And so campaign, galvanize, mobilize, make sure that you get involved in John Mahama's campaign, vote for the NDC's candidate on 7 December presidentially and also as your next MP so that we can be able to redeem our country struggling from all the things we've seen in the last 7.5 years. It's very sad, and we hope that with John Mahama's presidency, we're able to fight for this country, make sure that you have jobs and you have a good government. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you for your thoughts. Usually we would have people from the sub-region watching us, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia. Today we have Juje Wongwe. He says, good morning, I'm following live from Liberia. It's good to have you, Juje. Thanks for joining the conversation. Well, I'll start with you, gentlemen. Now, basically what we do with the papers, I could have set the example by starting, but I just want you to know, and I'll start with you, actually, William. So you take a paper, you give us first the major headlines, just read them out to us, and then by which time you would have selected maybe 1, 2, or maximum 3 stories you want to get into, and then you get into them. So let's start with you with the Daily Guide newspaper.
Okay, so on the Daily Guide newspaper, I see the 2024 elections. Bawumia, Mahama go neck to neck. And this story is on page 3.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
So give us the headlines, all the headlines.
Okay,
first of all.
sure. That's fine.
All the headlines. Just mention them out to us.
Okay, so it also states that Nana opens 40 million bitumen plant.
$40 million.
$40 million to be precise. Bitumen plant reads that the President Nana Akufo-Addo unveiling the plaque to inaugurate the African bitumen plant in Tema with him Robert Bugri Mambi, PM of Cote d'Ivoire, and Ni Ajete Agbo II, Tema Mankalu. And then it also says that NDC rebel leader arrested, and this is on page 6. There is a picture of Dr. George Ekufu-Dampari. It also states that government sends police military to galamsey sites. Can I go ahead and read the inside later?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so on the 2024 elections, which states that Bawumia, Mahama go neck to neck, says the latest comprehensive scientific survey on the December 7th, 2024 elections put the flag bearer of the new patriotic party, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, at par with former President John Mahama of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC. The survey results, which revealed a significant surge in the choice of Dr. Bawumia, must be worrying for the opposition NDC, as it confirms the growing sentiments on the ground that the momentum has since June 2024 shifted from the NDC to the ruling MPP. The confidential document cited by Daily Guide was done by a University of Ghana team, commissioned by one of Ghana's renowned political researchers, Dr. Isaac Owusu-Mensah, formerly of Conrad Adenauer Foundation, and now Director of Research, Jubilee House. According to the survey, 46.3% of voters surveyed said they would vote for the MPP, while an equal 46.3% preferred the NDC. A significant 3% of voters remain undecided. while smaller parties and independent candidates shared 4.4% of the votes. The survey also revealed that the majority of voters, 80%, are unlikely to change their minds before the elections, making the undecided component crucial in determining the outcome. In June this year, a baseline survey conducted by Professor Smart Sapon, Director of Research and Innovation at the Kumasi Technical University, revealed that the NDC was the most preferred political party for election 2024, a topping with 38.8% against the MPP's 34.5%. The KSTU survey said the NDC was leading in popularity, as the political party respondents are likely to support in the coming elections at close of April 2024. But the latest survey shows that the MPP's approval ratings have jumped from 34.4% to 48% in just 4 months, putting it in a statistical dead heat with the front-runner party, the NDC, which also has 48%.
All right. Let me just make this point that you are not to read the entire story, else the papers too. You know, the papers must sell, right? So we are not reading the entirety of the story, but we are getting into the salient matters, and then we take it from there.
That's fine.
I don't know whether you have a reaction. I have a lot to say, but do you have a reaction to that?
So you see,
Julian?
If there's any election that us, the NDC, has been very confident of winning comfortably, is the 2024 election. We're doing our own internal polls.
Okay.
And the polls that John Mahama is very much ahead in the elections.
I remember the last time I spoke to Johnson Esiedun Ketia, your party's chairperson. He said if polls were conducted, that was a few months ago, about 2 months ago, that he would win by what? 50+%. He mentioned the percentage. I don't know whether he said 54 or something.
Yes.
We could check.
So the NDC...
I don't know whether that's the same figure you are getting.
Yeah, so the NDC has a research directorate at its head office. The research director's job is supposed to do polling, research on elections, and be able to predict what our party's campaign is doing out there. And what the research tells us, I mean, we also heard other credible opinion on the subject matter that John Mahama is very much ahead in the election. I mean, it's elections, so I mean, every other time and month you see that momentum will be going up for the parties. The issues that come to the forefront of the elections always keep on changing. And these issues have a determination on how voters perceive the candidates in the elections. Now where we sit, we know that the NDC has a hold on what the next parliament will be. We have the majority in parliament, and John Mahama will scale through as our next president. That's not a debate at all. What actually our issue now is about how to make sure that the people that vote in the elections, their will is very much reflected at the polls. That's why we are doing everything possible to compel the electoral commission to do what is right by the Ghanaian people, to make sure that the electoral process is free and fair, and also the sovereignty of the nation will not be impeached by the people that are supposed to supervise the process. So you know that on the 17th of September we are having a massive protest out there to make sure that the EC does what is right. And we know all the issues happening.
But the EC has responded to you and said that your claims are baseless, they are unfounded, and that it is ready to conduct free, fair elections in Ghana. In fact, the last time we heard from Ifya Donko, when she went to file her nomination, she was full of praise for Jean Mensah, the EC's chairperson. So
if you are going to
calling her daughter.
If you are going to ascertain what the EC is saying, we must first assess the credibility of the EC in time past. We know that this is even in 2020 had to come out about 4 times the results of the election. They keep on changing it. In the last limited registration process, the EC came out with erroneous figures. It has to take the NDC to compel the EC to do.
Are you saying no previous EC has faltered on some of these?
4 times. 4 times.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not the question I asked. I didn't say 4 times. Are you saying that no previous EC, even going back to the days of Dr. Afari-Gyan, has not faltered on any point?
I cannot recall any time that Afari-Gyan came out with the results figure that was erroneous. But this EC in 2020, I mean, it is public news. There's information out there that the EC came out 4 figures to declare the results. We also know that the last limited registration process, what happened? The EC came out, the EC conducted a process to mop up registration for people that are 18 years and beyond to and who are eligible to register. The EC that conducted the process came out with wrong figures. Had to take the NDC to compel them to ascertain the figures and correct it. Okay. Now, this is the tale of two individuals who won the process. In post the 2012 elections,
So please summarize so we can.
Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia said that there were about over 500,000 people on the register that were voted, right? And then the EC then under Charlotte Osei put up an independent committee.
The UN also sanctioned.
That's the proper governance system to make sure that they did an inquiry into the matter. Then there's a new EC chair who despises that kind of process, an open process. If you think actually the process is credible, why can't you subject it to an independent
All right, so
inquiry?
point made on that. I just want to ask you though, William, I don't know whether, and sometimes because I am, what do you call it? I like reading stories and get a bit fixated on words. I know some newspapers, obviously, it's like in the United States, Fox News, maybe CNN, and some claims that are made. But the story seems to belabor the point. It is comprehensive, scientific, and all of that. I found that interesting, but that's just by the by. It says it's a confidential document they have seen, right? And it's the director of research at the Jubilee House who is conducting this poll, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is he with the University of Ghana currently or not? Because I heard something about it first comes out with, I don't know whether it says Political Science Department or formally. Then it says Director of Research at the Jubilee House. Which is it? Is it an NPP survey or is it a Political Science Department survey? We need to clarify before we move on. What does it say?
No, so I would rather love to.
Okay, so if it's not, then let me continue before you come to.
Okay,
let me continue. Now, then it references Professor Smart Sapong's survey as well of the KTU. I remember reading then, and the Daily Guide couldn't even, at the time, confirm for us reading whether he was a political scientist or a statistician, because there were figures, there were claims made on both fronts. And then if you read, I remember the Daily Graphic that day, it was categorical. In the Daily Guide, we couldn't really tell. All I will say is this. These surveys, I guess I've grown to, especially when they are not conducted. If a survey comes from the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana and I see certain credible names in there, I understand because I'm a product of that department and I know what it does. But from some places, I take all of them with a pinch of salt, especially when they are tainted with politics. That's me. I don't know what your reactions are, then we can get into other stories.
Thank you very much. So the thing with scientific research is that everybody is at liberty to do their own research and to also contribute or add to the knowledge. What we see in the narrative is a two-part work where there was a baseline survey in the early part of the year which puts the MPP's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at some 34%.
You're talking of Professor Smart's own? Or which one?
Yes, Professor Smart.
Because Smart's own interestingly said that. No, I'm just reminding you, Smart's report back then, curiously, said that the NDC was the more popular party.
Yes.
But
yes,
Bawumia, Dr. Bawumia, was the preferred candidate. And some people found that rather, I mean, if you know anything about
no, it's okay. So you see, the thing with research
it was pretty interesting.
Ghana has almost become a dual-party state. And so people have their already entrenched positions in terms of their preference for a political party A or political party B. And so it is normal to have one political party at a particular time T to be more preferred to the other, which is okay. Statistically, what the research sought to do was to establish popularity of the political party, which is the special purpose vehicle on which a certain individual seeks to journey to power. And so it is not a misnomer. It is not out of the place to have people who have their preference for a political party A, high, but do not actually like the political leader of that particular movement or that particular party. Reason is that if you would go back to my earlier comment, so we have this tendency to box everything together into MPP and NDC. However, the leadership of both political parties would go to the largest extent, determine the vision, the direction and the policy initiative that this particular party would represent. And so, yes, people would prefer, in the Professor Sapon's survey, people preferred the NDC as a political party more. For whatever reason, that will be established from the details of the research. We don't have it here.
Right.
But the people of Ghana at the time preferred the candidature, the person of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because in any case, he stands to represent the leadership of the MPP.
Okay.
However,
right.
the subsequent research has come to now establish something that we should take keen interest in.
Which subsequent research? This one?
This one, which is that the man has been able to successfully migrate from 34% to 48%. And if you look around, per this research. I'm speaking to this particular one. If you look around, what do you see? The man has made contact with the base of the nation. The man is out there seeking to interact with the people, which for me is the most important thing to do, because coming from an incumbent government, that is the one thing you would want to avoid.
Okay, point made on that. Because of time, we have limited time left. That is not corroborated by Global Info Analytics, which has been pretty spot on, both on parliamentary and presidential so far, but that's okay. Let's look into one of your papers. Is that the only story you want to do? Do you want to do any other story? If so, it must be very quick so that I go to Julian as well. Or is that okay for him?
Let's go.
Julian, any story? Which paper is that?
The Finder newspaper.
So that's the new Finder. Just give us the headlines and then pick maybe one, maximum two stories. And
okay, so there's a Dr. Imona Adusako speaks about why stability is crucial for business growth in Ghana. Look, too many business people in our country are struggling because of how the CD has been beaten by the dollar. Especially those that are into importing their products. So if you are an importer, you have to now look for more CDs to be able to cover your import cover. I'll give you an analysis. For instance, if you were in 2016, if you imported, your import cover was about $10,000. It means that at a rate of 3.8, you are going to spend $10,000 and 3.8 CDs to be able to purchase your product. In 2024, you are going to spend about 17 CDs per dollar to do that. So people are struggling out there, and then it is actually affecting the business community a lot. It's unfortunate this government is doing nothing about that. They told us that the CD was arrested, but unfortunately for all us, the CD has gone astray, and then our currency is very weak. And these are the things that we expect our government to be doing, to be responsible enough to be able to get us stability with our economy. Unfortunately, what we saw with our rising public debt has also affected how our economy is. So we hope that in the next government under John Mahama, we're able to, as John Mahama is saying, that we're going to have fiscal discipline in our economy to make sure that we have a proper economy and get business people to have a breather. And so that's the first concern that we have as for the business community. And then there's also a story about how cocoa pricing says the export dropped by $700 million in the first half of 2024 with our cocoa sector. You know, our cocoa sector has also been a bastion for surviving our economy for a very long time. When we need to get forex, we're able to rely on cocoa board. And also under this regime, we know what's happening now. The cocoa board is very much broke. The agency is spending so much money, what they call government operation system. Farmers are struggling under this government with cocoa board. We hope, and even we've actually been avoided out to get access to capital from capital market to be able to buy the seeds to sell in international markets, and all the lies that cocoa board came out with, which didn't reflect what the story actually there is out. So we hope that the managers of cocoa board do what is right. We need to probably arrest this galamsey miners. Too many cocoa trees are coming down, and when cocoa trees are coming down, it means that the number of acres we have for cocoa farmers are going to be.
I have a quick question for you. I think your point is made. The cocoa board seems to be operating a hybrid regime now. I think there was some talk from some elements that we had ended the cocoa syndicated loan, but they are saying that they're going to do it side by side, so sort of a bit of syndicated money, but then internally as well, we try to generate. For too long, I believe, have we relied on loans from abroad to see to our cocoa. What would a future NDC government do on that? Would you also work with a hybrid, as COCOBOD seems to be adopting now? And they are not adopting it because they want to. They are adopting it because their hands are tied. And sometimes necessity makes you think. But what would be your approach?
They are actually adopting it because COCOBOD has been plainly mismanaged. That's the fact of the case. So how did this come about? So first,
please be very brief on that. I just want to.
If you're going to borrow money from the capital market to be able to buy cocoa seeds, you must get a competitive rate so that you're able to make profit. You're able to get the margins to pay the farmers and also use part of the profits to invest into our country's development framework. When you borrow on the capital market for $100 and it is cheaper at a cheaper rate, it's better to borrow on the capital market, international capital market at a cheaper rate than doing domestic borrowing. That's the fact of on the capital market. So this COCOBOD, because of how it's been run down, is not able to access the international capital market because they don't have the financing.
I think you're explaining to us what is happening. I was asking you what you would do, just briefly, and because of time. Time is of the essence.
So we must know where we are so that we know how to respond to that. What the NDC is going to do now is to make sure that we pump in more fertilizer and then increase the number of cultivated lands for cocoa in the next...
The cultivated lands are going. Galamseyers are buying the land.
John Mahama is going to arrest the galamsey miners, and he's saying out there he has a fine, great plan to arrest the galamsey miners.
That plan also includes, freeing those who are in prison for galamsey and the rest.
So what is John Mahama saying? John Mahama is saying that we must provide alternative livelihoods for people in rural communities, those in the mining areas. So politicians and their kingpins, and sometimes foreigners, right? These guys are poor people. They don't have jobs because of how unemployment is on the rise under this regime, and they are used to, on their sites, right? So who do you blame? The politicians go scot-free, and the poor people who are afraid to go and come and help them.
Okay. So target those who are really culpable.
That's how you arrest.
I think the point is made. The point is made. Let me. You know what? I'll cede to you guys because I can go very quickly. So let's do your next paper. If apart from the Daily Guide, let's do is it the Ghanaian Publisher?
Yes, it's a Ghanaian.
So please give us the headlines first.
Okay, sure. So it says that Bawumia's housing plan to partner private sector to address the gap. The Kufuor commissions $45 bitumen plant in Tema. Rent control department goes digital. Mahama vows to prosecute and jail illegal miners if elected.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd want to go back to the $45 million bitumen plants. And you see, this is something that the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration has done very well at. What he has sought to do is to add value to whatever we do in country, leading the industrial drive. So you see things like the One District, One Factory initiative, which has seen the coming into effect several factories and industries later across, even the Century Oil company, which was inaugurated this year. So if you look at all the things...
We're not able to take care of Tour, but Central is doing...
No, you see, that's a different...
We thank God for Central.
No, that's a different discussion altogether. If you look at how the world is evolving, it's gotten to the stage where the public is supposed to partner with the private entities in order to get the most out of them. So
it wasn't possible to partner to make Tour stand on its feet. But I understand.
We can go into that discussion, but we don't have all the time to interrogate that. So if you look at how the MPP has functioned in the past 7 years, almost 8 years, and what His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia seeks to do, the industrial drive, the addition of value, so that now we have a gold refinery. Today we are able to produce our own bitumen. Today, His Excellency, under his leadership, has brought in Dre. What is he trying to do as a leader of a political party seeking to be given the mandate to lead the country? What he's seeking to do, in line with all the things we see, around, is that he wants to add value to whatever we're able to do as a people, as a country. Right. So when you see the commissioning of such things, let's not take it lightly. If you we can't sit on air, however, to, as it were, bastardize and run down state institutions as though they are alien. These are Ghanaian institutions, and therefore, any opportunity we get, let us seek to help them. If you haven't sat in any of these formal meetings, you will not appreciate. You will think that everybody out there means wrong for the country because nobody out there in MPP seeks to run down the country. What for?
Let me
but
ask
they are
you.
trying to help.
Let me ask you something. Just one question. Is galamsey a problem in this country?
Of course, galamsey is a problem.
Are members of the MPP involved in galamsey?
I am not able to say because I don't have any facts to back
The
it
Fourth
up.
Estate has
However,
named names. Hold for me. We know of Sir John, may his soul rest in peace. You don't talk ill of the dead, but we also know that he willed part of the Achimota forest out to certain people. We know that members of your party, including the Ashanti Regional Chairman Wuntumi. And it's interesting how these people don't come out to... It's basically ignored. On the Tano River, even recently, news file over the past week, Erastus Asaridonko, talking about it. The Fourth Estate has named names from Sampine, the very people who were standing a few months ago, Green Ghana, and the other very people. And I'll be talking about them in my blunt thoughts when I talk about ecocide, ecological genocide that we are doing. You're telling me that all the people in your party mean well for the country with some of these things they are doing. That's what you're telling me, right?
So you see, when we limit or narrow the discussion to all the people in your party, we seek to say that they are not Ghanaians. The galamsey menace should be discussed within the context of a national agenda.
Yeah, it should also be discussed within the
yes,
context
it's
of those
okay.
in power and what they are doing or
no
failing
problem
to do.
at all. It can equally be discussed within the context of when it first started. I remember in the year 2010 when I completed university, when galamsey was just now soaring.
Galamsey did not start in 2000.
No, I'm not saying it started in 2000. I'm saying it was now soaring. We're talking about the instances where champagne was introduced into this country. It was the NDC that was in power. Why didn't they stop it? You see, if we want to limit the discussion...
I like the way you're following the rhetoric of Anodompre. Oh, they did it worse
No, don't take me there. What I'm trying to say is...
I shouldn't take you there.
No.
I should leave you out.
Because that's not what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Right.
What I'm saying is that if you want us to limit the discussion to your party, then you are inviting the MPP to also come to establish that it started under this regime and it doesn't help.
Why do you
the
think
discussion.
people voted out the NDC?
Hold on a second, for several reasons.
So I can hold you to your party because your party said you would deal with the menace. Your president, our president, your party's political leader put his presidency on the line. So I should hold your party responsible for how it is. Did you watch the news this morning? Fishermen
I'm coming.
are saying that they can't catch fish. And that fisherman was holding the president, his vice, the IGP, the commander, of the armed forces. I'm talking about the chief of defense staff, accountable. What will you tell that fisherman?
So you see, this is exactly what I was coming to, that the discussion should be broadened. As we speak, if you ask me what my solution really is, I would say that if we really mean to cure this menace, let His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, His Excellency former President Mahama, all the parliamentary candidates, both MPP and NDC, these are the leading ones. Let them all line up. Let's put the questions to them. What do you intend to? So that nobody gets to enjoy from the sensationalization of issues, because we are running, less than 3 months to election. So that these discussions can be held holistically and nationally for the benefit of everybody.
Thank you very much. Your point has to be made in 20 seconds.
I have a very quick response to that. So this is the MPP telling people that 6-month-old babies, teenagers, young people who don't have executive power must be equally blamed for the way the government had not been responsible in solving this galamsey menace. The MPP commissioned a committee chaired by Professor Frimpong Boakye. The report is out there. Frimpong Boakye indicted the government and said that the presidency was involved.
Okay, I think your time is up.
That report out there.
I think your point is made. Who was on the floor? Was it you?
I was.
Yeah. Okay, so
yes. So I was actually establishing that.
You have to wrap up on that. I'll let him do his final paper.
So if you ask me a summary, we should look for a leader who intends to help build the people, build our base in terms of strength, economic strength, industrial strength, all the other things. And therefore, what we see from everything we have read today points to the fact that His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia takes the people of Ghana serious, and he's working himself tirelessly towards it, even to the point of meeting the people, the ordinary person, to hear them.
Sure. Let's take your final paper very quickly. Is there? Have you done your second paper?
No. I touched on the two when I spoke.
Okay, so briefly, maybe in about a minute, let's see what else you'd like to add.
So you see, there's something that my good friend William said. He said that the MPP means war, and then the Ghanaian people should believe they mean war. So the people listening to us today must ask themselves, the $200 million PDS fraud that almost that made us lose our financing support for the MCA. The $100 million SML deal, the fraud, and all the American Innovation fraud, and all the litany of fraud, the ambulance scandal and co. The people who were involved in the process, did they mean well for the public or not? This is money that could be used to build schools and provide industries. Look, what is the verdict out there? In 2016, at the exit of the John Mahama presidency, manufacturing was about 14%. That's what the statistics prove. Under this regime, the regime that says that is doing 1D, 1F, people out there in their districts, ask yourself, is there any factory that is functioning under this 1D, 1F? Manufacturing has nosed down. Is that and it's reflecting on economy. That's why John Mahama says he's going to implement what he calls the National Apprenticeship Program to make sure that we tool up skill development and get young people to be skilled up.
Thank you.
And so this
Julian.
MPP regime has nothing for the people of Ghana.
All right.
They've failed miserably.
So the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning, trust EC for credible register, Deputy Chair assures political parties. The EC hasn't treated political parties and other stakeholders in the electoral system to trust the elections management body to deliver a credible electoral roll for the 2024 general election. My only question, it's like that very famous saying, trust but verify. I trust, but I'd like to verify. Simple. I trust, but I'd like to verify. Me, for every process, and it's not targeting the EC. I have friends in the Electoral Commission. I have former lecturers there. I don't care. It's about, I can trust you, yes, as a person, but governance is not based on trust. Let's verify. Do the right thing. Be an open book, and that is all that is needed. We'll reopen discussions on handing over mission schools. That's according to Mahama. Rent Control launches digital platform to address loopholes. Sunyani East, history favors NPP. Fighting galamsey, marshal security to eliminate menace. That's according to the GPCC, urging government. And those are the stories I'll focus on. The Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council has urged the government to deploy the entire security network to clamp down on illegal mining, aka galamsey, across the country once and for all. The security operation, the ecumenical body said, should be well coordinated, but should be preceded by a massive educational campaign that could rope in all stakeholders in the catchment areas of illegal mining activities in the country. Edward Bauer, the Bongo legislator, came and sat here and said that we should treat galamsey like we treat armed robbery. Have you ever seen anybody really, whether, unlike what the politicians would do, oh, court or something, oh, I'm trying to pass back door, defend an armed robber. Sometimes people, there were times when they were shot to kill, or the police shot to kill. I feel if we get to that point, whether you're a politician, you're a saint, you're a sinner, you are a chief, and if we get to that point where we treat galamsey like armed robbery, and when you are caught, you are dealt with, I think that's the only way. This whole bit about, national stakeholder education, yes, but in the meantime, every day, the pollution we add to our water bodies, to our land, even to the airspace, because of the burning activities. How are we reversing that? I think we've got past the point where the talk shop is needed. On the back page of the Daily Graphic, President commissions $40 million African bitumen terminal. Then Republic Press, cocoa price hits the roof. I like how we sensationalize. 45% increase announced for 2024-2025 season. Ban now or suffer later. Religious leaders warn. I see Eastwood Anaba. I see Action Chapel. What's his name again?
Duncan Williams.
Duncan Williams. Yeah. And I see... I need help with that one as well. So can you help me with him? Dakiwood Mills. Dakiwood Mills. I don't know, for some reason this morning. They are out of my head. And that's the call. Ban now or suffer later. I agree with them. I know for the small-scale miners, for example, they are doing something. On that same page, small-scale miners go wild, burn galamsey equipment on River Mankraso in Ahafwano South. They are trying to protect their interests and say that, look, we are not illegal miners like the galamseyers. We are small-scale miners. We do the right thing. But even there, not all of them are doing the right thing. And it has been proven in the past. If what we need is for all of us to sacrifice and say, let's ban the whole thing, restructure, and then know specifically who is where. We can use geospatial equipment. We have satellite technology. We can feed into it and ensure that no one is doing anything anywhere.
Yes.
Then we can streamline and ensure that those who are doing the right thing are there. We are watching you, we are following. But until then, God help Ghana. The way we are politicizing this galamsey issue, it will come back to bite us hard. Even right now, well, let's be there and do NDC MPP. Hopefully it will help us. My guests this morning, our time is up. I'm grateful you could take the time to join us. Thank you so much. William Ofosu-Asante, NPP's parliamentary candidate, Pong Katamanso constituency. Julian Kobna, NDC's manifesto spokesperson on youth development. I'll give you 20 seconds each. Wrap up comments. Julian, this time you start.
Okay, so for all the things that young people face in the Republic now, John Mahama is promising you a national apprenticeship program. John Mahama is promising you a youth microcredit facility line to give you credit to start a business. He's promising you an Ejumara program that makes sure that you're able to start a business and get business advice wherever you are. And so I'm asking young people out there to get involved in the Mahama campaign.
All right, thank you.
Mobilize and
get involved in the Mahama campaign. Yes.
All right, so thank you very much. I'd like to say that for the first time, we've seen His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's taking Ghanaians seriously. He means...
For the first time, he's taking Ghanaians seriously.
Not for the first time, I'm saying that.
But that's what you said.
Please put my words in context. I said we are seeing a leader who has, at the campaign stage, taking Ghanaians very serious, because this is the most serious campaign I have seen since growing up. And therefore, Ghanaians should consider the person, the capabilities and the abilities of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud.
Thank you.
He's good for us. And of course, let the people of Pong Katamanso know that the young man William Ofosu-Asante is the best shot we need now.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I'd also like to thank Zero Africa for decking me in this one more time. Always giving me wonderful outfits. Mudasiru and his team, they are producing wonderful outfits for men. If you'd like to reach out to them, you can just call 0557 029 138. 0557 029 138. On social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, they are reachable at SIRU-Africa. Check them out and let them fit you out with something spectacular. Well, that's how we cap off the news review this morning. But up next is Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. You want to stay for that.